Hi everybody. My name's Dustin. This is my vinyl community on YouTube entrance or introduction, so to speak. Sorry, really nervous. Don't know why though. I just want to tell you guys a little about myself, a little bit about my taste. I got some vinyl that kind of sums up what I'm about. Um, my goal here is to become the hair metal '80s glam hair. This guy basically. That's I play guitar too. I play a lot of punk and a lot of like hair metal. Um, a lot of older, nothing really past like 70, early 70s. Like I enjoy all that. I listen to it, but my niche is really like 74 to 91 maybe. Um, anyways, a little bit about myself. My dad was a big Kiss fan growing up. Naturally, I just Kiss was the most amazing thing to me. The most amazing thing I've ever seen or heard. And I listened to a lot of their early stuff that my dad had on CD. And when I was about 9, I had some extra like money after like it was either allowance or after Christmas time. And my dad took me out, and the first album I ever bought was Kiss Alive 3. I bought it with my own money. It was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And when you're 9, and at this point it's only like 1990. Let's see, or 2002 actually. Sorry, my math's really bad. 2002, I thought Kiss Alive 3, which had come out in probably early 80s. I thought that had just come out. I was like, oh, there's all this new album that I haven't heard before. Turns out I'd only heard like 3 CDs by Kiss. So I just went and I had found all this music that was out there, just the music that was out there I had no clue about. And sorry, if you hear any snoring, I have a dog. Philip, say hi to the camera. This is my dog Phil. Yeah, he might be in some of the videos in the future, but yeah, if you hear snoring, it's him. Um, yeah. So anyway, 3 4 years ago, I found out one of my friends' dad gave him a bunch of vinyl when he had passed away, and I was hooked immediately. I tried to like let me listen. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this next. Blue Oyster Cult, Bob Dylan, all this stuff, and that's how I started getting into older stuff. And as I started collecting on my own, I started getting really like specific tastes. Like this is my I just actually built this record cabinet today off of a forum to make a record store style cabinet off of one 4 by piece of plywood. And I don't know the guy's name that made it on the forum, but if you're watching this at any point, thank you very much. It worked really well. But record cabinet off of one 4 by 8 piece of plywood. That's I got maybe 180 records right now. That's just what I have for now. Eventually getting more. The bottom's not even full yet. But anyway, back to this. So I started getting more into my tastes and just narrowing it down and finding out where I really fit. And my plan is to eventually just go genre by genre and just force myself to get into a genre and enjoy it because I love all kinds of music, but I don't know. I guess this is just what I'm happiest listening to if I had to prefer something. But I have a couple albums here that I'd like to show you. Just this is my taste and everything. The first album, and I don't know if this on my screen it's backwards. It's probably not on the video. If it is, I apologize. But the first one I want to show you guys is Cinderella Night Songs. This is their 1986 release. It's probably one of the more glammed up images on an album cover. But it's not so much 80s hair metal as it is like 80s glam rock and roll. It's maybe a little harder. It's a yeah. It's sorry. It's definitely a little harder than Poison, but I wouldn't go as far as saying it's as hard as Guns N' Roses, if that makes sense. But if you're a fan of 80s rock at all, this is definitely an album you gotta check out. Um, the next one, we're kind of jumping back a little bit here, but actually maybe not. Nope, same year actually, just classic rock. But this is Boston's third album called Third Stage. And I listened to the first Boston album like everybody, and it just sounded amazing. So I went to the second one, and it sounded pretty much just as good. So I had to look and see, hey, they couldn't have done it a third time. They can't beat Boston three times. That nobody can do that. Probably it's got to be my second favorite. No one beats the first Boston album, but what's really cool about this album is there's the back, nothing really names. But what's really cool about this album is the band essentially broke up, and it was the singer Brad Delp and the guitar player. Let me see his name so I can give him credit real fast. Tom Schultz. And basically, they just wanted to keep the band going. It took them 6 years to make the album, and Brad Delp sang, and Tom Schultz did everything else, and it came out really nice. Recorded it all in analog, and of course, they pioneered digital recording, but I hope that's true. I think that's true. I remember that, but it might be opposite. But speaking of Kiss, my favorite Kiss album of the '80s, Crazy Nights, and they're definitely very polished. This is when they had, I think, their fourth guitarist. See, Ace Frehley, Vinnie Vincent, Mark St. John. Fourth guitarist. Sorry, I know Kiss a lot. But Crazy Nights, very well written album. One of their better '80s, besides maybe Creatures of the Night. I'm gonna suggest Kiss a lot probably throughout my videos. But yeah, Crazy Nights. And one last thing I want to show you guys about that album. I actually have a picture disc, which is like one of my favorite parts of my collection. But kind of see, same as the cover, kind of looks broken, but it's not. It's intact. Um, Staying in the mid '80s, but more of the rock sound. One of David Lee Roth's solo albums, Skyscraper. And my favorite of all of his solo albums, especially his EP. But what I really loved about this album, and no disrespect to Steve Vai or David Lee Roth, but Billy Sheehan of Mr. Big is on this album. And if you haven't heard Billy Sheehan, just go look up some Billy Sheehan, and you'll be amazed at what he can do with the bass. It's more lead than the guitar is probably in this album. He's crazy. Just check out Billy Sheehan. Also, from straight out of the '80s, Dokken, Under Lock and Key. My favorite Dokken album, although it's hard to pick a favorite. Let me get the glare. There we go. Sorry about that. First time making video like this. But nothing really to see on the back. But as far it doesn't necessarily have any of their declared radio hits, but it's got my favorite group of songs they've ever released on an album together. Also, some suggestions would be to check out the album Tooth and Nail and Back for the Attack by Dokken. They're three best in my opinion. Second to last, we have Rat. And the thing about Rat, this is their, I call it an EP. It's technically their first album, but it only has 6 songs. But the thing about Rat is most people got into them Out of the Cellar, Invasion of Your Privacy, you know, like the songs Round and Round off of Out of the Cellar, and Lay It Down after Invasion of Your Privacy. And this actually came a year, I think a year and a half before those. And a lot of people just miss this. They just appeared to like Rat slightly after this album came out. They had their more radio-friendly hits, and if you're a Rat fan at all, go back and check this out. Their first track, You Think You're Tough, sorry. You Think You're Tough is one of my favorite Rat songs of all time from listening to this album. And last but not least, one of the most underrated bands of the '80s, Queensryche. This is the album The Warning. It's probably they've been considered a prog band to some point, but I think of them more as '80s speed metal a little bit. But the album The Warning, a couple things. The second song on here, really after like the intro, it's the first song, but the first declared song, Enforce, is one of the most powerful intros, just strong songs I've ever heard, and I listen to a lot of this kind of music. That's pretty much what I do all day. the second cool thing is they pretty much, I guess, they paid for the album themselves. I couldn't find the word, but they weren't signed at the time they released this, and just the how good the songs were, how polished they were, how good the recordings were. You definitely gotta give them props for how well they did with so little money. And yeah, Queensryche. Check this album out. Also, I'd recommend Operation Mindcrime by them. Um, yeah, that's pretty much the summary of what you'll be getting from me. I have some more hidden gems of the 80s genre, and I also have some classic rock. I mean, I got some Beatles, some Beach Boys, some Elvis in there. I listened to all this. One thing I actually did not too long ago is I just listened to my records in alphabetical order till I got through them. And then I was like, oh, I gotta go out and get more now. But yeah, I'll probably be posting videos at least once a week. Hopefully a lot more. Hopefully like once or twice a day, because give me something to do. But yeah, you can count on me at least once a week. I usually go shopping once a week to get some records. Come back with anywhere from 2 to 20, depending on what I have to spend that week. Anyway, getting up here about 11 and a half minutes. Please subscribe. And I'm going to subscribe to all of you and check out all the videos I missed over the past couple years. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't look while I turn this off.